Well, hello, dear viewers, both old and new. Welcome to the Musings of Mary channel. This is your host, Maverick, and today we're going to be talking about what I'm making for the winter 2020 season of anime. So, if you're old here, you know what to expect, right? You should be familiar with my style of videos now. Now, if you are new here, you stumbled upon this channel by chance. Well, this is more or less an anime reaction channel, although the reaction part isn't really my forte, right? I like to focus my efforts a little bit more on the discussion parts, what I like to call my musings, right? I talk about what I like, what I didn't like about a particular episode and the anime in general, as well as do a little bit deeper dive into the topics that might come up. If it is an anime that has maybe a hidden layer or a second or third layer within it, right? Occasionally I'll also give out some, trivia facts, references as well, based on the fact that, even though I've stayed in the Western world for quite a while, I am actually Asian and I am based in Asia. So maybe that is also a nice perspective to have while watching these kinds of things. Beyond that, well, let's just get right into the animes, shall we? Alrighty, so first up on my list is Magia record Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Gaiden, otherwise known as the side story to the Madoka Magica series. So first things first, I absolutely love this franchise, right? To me, I have top 3 franchises when I'm talking about anime. One is Gintama, one is Neon Genesis Evangelion, and the other would be the Madoka Magica series. So I absolutely love this, right? The movies for this were absolutely stellar. Even the one, even the third one, which a lot of people thought were controversial and whatnot, I loved every single one of them. So there is no way in hell I am missing out on this new series, right? Now, granted, this is, like I said, this is a side story, so it's going to talk about a new cast of characters, right? It's set in the same world, and there are more or less some linkages between them. However, we are going to be featuring a whole new cast with new main characters, so on and so forth. With that being said, however, it's still animated by Shaft, right? It's still the same, the same quality here, and the new cast is also quite impressive in its own right as well. So basically, it's Tricell. If you guys are familiar with the Seiyu unit Tricell, I believe they're also doing the opening song for this as well. And then we also got some other big names or familiar names for me, such as Ayaneru, such as Hashi, and so on and so forth, right? I believe Hanakana is making a cameo appearance as well. So anyways, I am definitely very excited for this. I have never played the game before, which this is actually based on, but who cares, right? Like I said, it's a new series, it's a new anime in the Madoka Magica series. I will absolutely be watching this 100%. And I do hope that it can capture the feeling of the original series as well. Next up on the list will be Bang Dream 3rd season, and for those of you who know of this franchise already, poppin' party, baby. But anyways, so for those of you who don't know exactly what this is, because it's the anime of this isn't exactly all that well received or popular, so Bang Dream is a mixed media franchise which it originated from manga, and then it gradually expanded into, light novels and games and anime and card games and, all different kinds of merchandise. But at its core, it's a very unique concept, and that is, so it's a story talking about girl bands, right? Girls in a band, and so, okay, you might think it's something similar to K-On! Or whatnot, cute girls doing cute things. However, one unique aspect of this is that the seiyus, the voice actors for them, actually also form a band in real life. And so, to me, this is such an intriguing concept because we get to see them, on screen, but then we also see them in real life, performing as well, and I am a big fan of this franchise. I've actually flown to Japan specifically to attend the concerts of them, and of course my main band being Poppin' Party, that is where I usually those are the lives that I usually attend, right? And these are actual voice actresses performing the actual instruments, right? So it's not like some other kind of idol franchises where, okay, they're just singing along or dancing along or whatnot. They actually go out and play the real instruments, play the actual songs that they play in the anime as well, and many, many more. So I am absolutely in love with this franchise. I also play the game as well, and I'm decently good at it, I would say. Yeah, basically, I will support this franchise any way I can, and so I will be watching the anime, of course. Of course, what to expect, we can probably see Raisa Suilin actually forming with Roka in there, and then we can also see Poppin' Party. It seems that they are still going to be the main protagonist band in this season as well. We'll see all the other bands, of course, such as Afterglow, Pastel Palettes, Roselia, Hello Happy World, but, no, we'll probably still be having a main story focus on Poppin' Party. And, well, that's my Oshi. I love it. Wouldn't miss it for the world. Next up on the list, we have Plunderer. So honestly, on initial look at this, I didn't really want to, it didn't really pique my interest in any sort of way. It does have a kind of interesting premise to it where, every single person in the world has some sort of number on them that represents different things, and if it reaches 0, they die. So that was quite intriguing to me. However, it's being made by an unproven studio. I look at the animation, it's not really, and the character designs and whatnot, it's not really something that immediately draws me or something I'm interested in. With that being said, however, the author of this story is the same who made the manga Sora no Otoshimo. Right, Otoshimono, which a lot of people liked. Honestly, to me, I was a little bit more lukewarm towards it. I did read the entire manga as well. However, well, apparently, since that is highly regarded, I would say perhaps the story for this is something to watch out for, right? And from the reviews I've read from the original manga, it seems that this is also a series that features a lot of plot twists. Sorry for that. So I don't know, I figured I'd give it a quick try, but honestly, I don't promise anything, and whether or not I will actually make it a series or not. And next up on the list, we have Inspector, which I believe is probably a pun on the name Inspector, right? Otherwise known as Kyokou Suiri. Kyokou Suiri. So this is a mystery series, and again, this is something that initially didn't really catch my eye all that much in terms of its premise or in terms of the character designs or whatnot, or in the studio, the staff, so on and so forth. However, what it has going for it is the original creator of this, who is a mangaka, is Shirodaira Kyosan, who made a lot of different mangas as well, all within the sort of mystery genre, let's just say. And although I've never seen any of his other works, apparently they're all very highly regarded by the community. So it would seem that this anime, or at least the original work for it, would be quite compelling as well, with its own strengths. So at least the source material is strong, right? And just judging from the PV, I don't see anything particularly wrong with the adaptation as well. Other things it's got going for it, the male lead is being voiced by Mamoru-san, which is one of my favorite male voice actors, and so I guess that's another thing going for it. But to be completely honest, I'm not really confident that I will be making a series out of this, but we shall see, right? At least I'll give it a whirl, give it a few episodes, and see what's up. Next up on the list is the anime Pet, and first of all, let me just say that this is such a crappy name, because just for the reasons of, of SEO, right? How are you going to get people to search for your work? How are you going to get people to look at your work with a name like this? But all that being aside, let's talk about this actual anime adaptation, right? So, first of all, the art style itself isn't particularly enticing to me. Like, I'm really not that big a fan of this sort of art style. Some people might like it for its different looks, not me. The source material is, I think, didn't really, I couldn't really find much information on it. I don't know whether it's good or not, and honestly, looking at the promotional videos for this, I still have absolutely no idea what it's talking about. So it does seem like a sort of psychedelic trip to me, in regards to, how they are using the scenes and whatnot, so I really don't know what to expect here. And now, it does have some other things going for it, right? First of all, the director for this, Omori Takahiro-san and the scriptwriter for this, Murai Sadayuki-san, are both heavyweights in their respective fields, right? Pretty much you can say that what they touch, it has a stamp of quality, a stamp of approval, right? So we got that going for it. So they're both responsible for a lot of, I guess, more cult films in a sort of way. Maybe they are loved by a particular subset of, of fans, a particular niche of fans. But since they are going to be loved, there's obviously some good qualities that's going to come out from this, right? So I figured I'd give it a try as well. Now, what really got me thinking that, okay, I need to at least watch a few episodes of this is actually because of the artist that's doing the opening and the ending. So the opening is going to be made by Ring Toshite Shigure, and the ending is going to be made by Mimai Siren. Now, particularly Shigure in particular, I'm a huge fan of. I'm a huge fan of their music. So, well, yeah, that's basically it, right? I do think that I want to take at least a few episodes of this and see what is up. Next up on the list, we have Darwin's Game. So again, an anime with a quite peculiar title. Now, contrary to what the title might have you believe, this is actually not an isekai series. It's not one where you get sucked into a game and whatnot. However, it does deal with a genre that I feel like is also explored a lot as well. So basically, the premise is that you download this application or this game, and it turns your real life into basically a huge game, a huge battle royale, where you gain different kinds of abilities, and then you need to basically kill the other participants of this game to be the last man standing, right? And so it's set directly in our modern world, in our, in the real world, basically. Now, this immediately reminded me of another anime series that I've watched, such as Juni Taisen, and a manga series I've read, Batum, basically. So sort of like that kind of situation. And whether or not this actually turns out to be good really depends on how they utilize their powers, how they structure their powers, right? Is it, are there different drawbacks, are there different pros and cons to each of the powers? Do they have like specific ways that they can be activated? Is it going to be sort of like a puzzle to figure out what the other person's power is and then play around that? And also, does it have an aspect of mind games as well? Like, should I collaborate with this guy or should I not? Should I trust him? Should I not? Those kinds of things, right? And these type of scenarios is what's going to make this kind of series compelling. So again, going to go through at least a few episodes of this and see if it actually turns out to be work that is maybe a little bit deeper, right? Not just a surface level action type of fantasy anime. Next up on the list is Somali and the Forest Spirit. And initially, right off the bat, what I'm thinking of is the female lead is being voiced by Minase Inori, right? And she's basically like in everything nowadays. But the real matter of fact is I haven't seen a slice of life series with her in it that actually sucked, right? So all the slice of lives that she has starred in, they've basically been pretty impressive on their own right? So I feel like this series is also going to be something similar to that as well. The source material is, I guess, also a bit more on the, more on the positive side in terms of the reviews that it got. So yeah, it by all means, it seems that this is going to be one of those sleeper hits, right? Now, the thing about this one, though, is that for this kind of series, I feel like there's not really that much for me to say about it, right? So it doesn't really suit my style of making these kinds of videos. So this might turn into a series which I'll watch on my own, but I won't really be doing videos on it because there's nothing really for me to comment on, right? For lots of different slice of lives which deal with Japanese life or deal with cute girls doing cute things, typically I'm able to either learn something or maybe provide my perspective on that. This one, since it's set in a fantasy world, I really don't know. But, well, as with the other ones, I still give the first few episodes a whirl, and see if I can actually make it into a series. And next up, we have Dorohedoro. So, this one, right off the bat, let me just say that the source material for it is highly regarded, right? Probably the most highly regarded out of all the animes of this upcoming season. And looking at the setting of it, it's really, really intriguing to me, right? You got magic, fantasy type of stuff. You got magic. You combine it with a sort of punkish kind of world, and also in a sort of post-apocalyptic setting. So just the world setting itself seems to be, it's very compelling to me in that regard. The art style, whatever, it's fairly unique in its own way as well, but really I'm just thinking about this and saying, okay, this looks like a cool world, I want to see what's in it, right? And since the source material is pretty highly regarded, that also allows me to believe that probably it has a pretty good storyline, or at least good character development as well. And the final nail in the coffin, if we might call it that, is, yeah, I shouldn't call it the final nail in the coffin. Another swing vote for it, in terms of, it being a positive series, is that the music for it is being done by the musical group No Name. So this is the same group that did the music for Fairy Gone. Now, I know Fairy Gone itself is a pretty shit anime, like, let's be honest here, but the music for it was absolutely stellar, and No Name, they are a talented bunch of people. They deserve a lot more recognition than they currently have. So, yeah, this one might also be the sleeper hit of the season. And finally, to round out the season here, we have Drifting Dragons. Now, this one might come as a surprise to a lot of you guys. It's not being made by a top tier studio, not being made by top tier staff or voice actors or any of that. The source material isn't particularly popular as well. And as you guys can see within the preview, it's full CGI, right? So why am I watching this? Well, honestly, the CGI for it is not something that I'm particularly against, right? I'm not one of those people who is completely against CGI. I feel like used correctly or with a quality studio, it can have its moments, right? And honestly, this actually reminds me a lot of another series I did, which is the Kotobuki Flying Squadron, which was, even though it was full CGI as well, it was decent enough in its animation qualities. And come on, this is a series where they're hunting dragons. They're in airships hunting dragons. Like, how cool is that? So I gotta at least take a look at it and see if it's actually any fun or not, right? Is the story compelling? Is the stuff, I mean, again, they're literally on zeppelins, they're on airships hunting dragons. I feel like, at the very least, I need to give this thing a chance. Alrighty, so that's pretty much everything that I'm watching from the next season. Now, there are a few titles that are missing, you might think, such as Haikyuu, such as a certain scientific railgun. However, I haven't really watched the original series to them. Those are sequels, so yeah, I'm not going to be watching the sequels directly, right? If you are interested in that, I can point you guys over to my good friend Mad Love Culture. He puts a lot of effort into his videos as well. He does a lot of editing and whatnot, makes it interesting. He's more of a hype reactor, but I'm sure a lot of you guys also enjoy that as well. He helped me out a lot, so guys, go support him if you can. Now, as for the other series that are going on for this next season, some do pique my interest as well, such as Runway de Warate or Infinite Dendrogram. However, I want to keep my schedule relatively compact for the winter season. And honestly, winter is not a very good time for me to be making videos because I take a lot of vacations during winter because I like to go snowboarding, and also I am in an Asian country, so we celebrate Lunar New Year's, aka Chinese New Year's. So with the holidays and the vacations and whatnot, there's a lot of time when I'm not going to be able to be in my recording environment. So I want to keep the schedule as loose as possible. And in the event that some of the other animes that I mentioned don't really live up to the quality that I'm expecting, I'll just cut it and put up some of my other, backlog anime. Now, first up on the list would be Code Geass, right? A lot of you guys have been telling me to watch it, and I do really want to watch it, except that it's quite a big series, quite a big franchise as well, and yeah, that is a commitment, right? And again, I want to keep my plate relatively clean so that I don't end up making this into a chore, right? Because we never want to make watching anime into a chore. What's the point of that? Beyond Podcast, if there are other slots that open up, next up on the list would probably be Yuru Camp. I do like this particular genre of anime, cute girls doing cute things, and especially those that have a little bit more hardcore knowledge put into them, right? So those are all up in the air for watching. It really depends on whether this next batch of anime for this upcoming season are good or not. So there we go. Hope you guys have a great New Year's, have a great 2020, and I will see you guys hopefully all in the upcoming videos. This is Mary signing out. Bye bye.